Hello, my friends. I'm Diana. Welcome back to my channel. This is a place where I share all things crochet and try to get people excited about crocheting. I share tips and tricks and all those things. So if you're interested in that, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Oh my goodness, guys, I'm so excited about today's video. It's gonna be a good one. Today, I got a request from the community to do a head-to-head, two-head comparison between Red Heart Super Saver yarn, Big Twist Value yarn, and I Love This yarn. You can see right off the bat that they are different sizes. The reason that I did that, we'll just wait for Fiona to take her seat over there because that's where her spot is whenever I record. Thank you, Miss Fiona. The reason why that there are different sizes, I have projects in mind for each of these. I also have to say that you can see that this is a striped yarn, this is like a variegated yarn, and this is a variegated yarn. And I'll be honest, I don't really care for variegated yarn. I think it's because it switches all these different colors. I do have a plan for these yarns. Today, we're going to talk about the head-to-head, two-head comparison between the three. What is the same, what is different, what I liked, what I didn't like. Let's get started. First things first, all three are acrylic yarns. Okay, real important. All are acrylic yarns. All are a medium 4-weight yarn. Now, you'll find sometimes when it says a medium 4-weight yarn, not all yarns are equal. Let me show you what I mean. So I've crocheted with all three, but they don't all three measure the same in the squares. As you can see, the Red Heart Super Saver yarn, which is this neon color, measures about 5 3/4 across. The Big Twist yarn measures 5 1/2. The I Love This yarn also measures at 5 3/4. So you can see what I mean. These are interchangeable, but just be aware that the Big Twist yarn, the fibers are a little bit more fine, so your squares or whatever you're making is going to be just a little bit smaller. Now with this example, size 6mm hook, and I made the Starburst Granny Square. If you want a tutorial or you want to see how to do that, I have a tutorial on my channel that I will link below, and also a project that I made with this particular granny square. So just so you know, here's a little history lesson. Big Twist, the I Love This yarn are made by their parent companies or where they're sold. I Love This yarn is sold exclusively at Hobby Lobby. In 1972, Hobby Lobby opened their first store. The Big Twist yarn is made by Joann stores, call it Joann's, and Joann stores have been open since 1943. So Red Heart is made by Coates and Clark, and they've been around for like 250 years apparently, and they were based out of Scotland. So that's kind of cool. These guys have been making yarn for a little bit. All right, the things that they have in common is the hook size for the Big Twist yarn is 5mm. So you can use a 5mm hook. That's what they suggest to use for this one. For the I Love This yarn is a 5mm hook. The Red Heart Super Saver is a 5.5mm hook. That's their suggested. And if you don't know how to read different labels, yarn labels, I have a video about that I will also link below. So if you have any questions, talks about all sorts of things, tells you the hook size. So on this Red Heart Super Saver yarn, on the label it says to use a 5.5mm hook, but then it gives you a pattern. And the pattern calls for a 5mm hook. I think that you would be fine with either. If you use a larger hook size, it changes the drape or the way that it hangs. In my project, I'm using a 6mm hook. That's gonna change. And if you have any questions about making any sort of blanket or anything like that, I've also made a video, and I will link that one in the descriptions below as well. We're gonna talk about the Big Twist yarn and the size that it is. So the Big Twist yarn comes in 269 yards, or 4.3 ounces, and the regular price is $4.49. Most of the time this comes on sale. Just bought it for $2.79 at Joann. So this is an exclusive Joann product, and they have some fantastic colors. They have lots of plain, they have lots of variegated, they have all sorts of colors. And if you go to the plain colors, you're gonna get more in your skein than if it is variegated. So for this I Love This yarn, the skein measures 252 yards or 5 ounces, and it comes in at $4.99. These come on sale every other week for 30% off. Now, if you're doing a head-to-head comparison and you do a sale and then you get a coupon off at Joann, this one is going to be financially a better purchase than the I Love This yarn. So just something to consider. This one is a large, like, see it says a jumbo on it. They come in at just a value size as well, which is half the size of this, but for the purpose of making something, it was cheaper for me to buy a bigger roll than 2 smaller rolls when they were on sale. This regular size, so if I had a regular size of the same type of skein with these stripes, it would be 236 yards and 5 ounces for $4.49. And that is at Joann. You could purchase this at Walmart. You could purchase it online. You could purchase it Joann, anywhere that it spells Red Heart. Not maybe necessarily this color, but again, they have varied colors as well. Just like I Love This yarn, they have a plethora of colors that you can choose from. Red Heart Super Saver yarn, you can purchase pretty much anywhere and everywhere that you can think of. Now, there is something on here. I'm gonna show it bigger on the screen, but you can see this is, it's the, I don't even know how to say, Oeko-Tex. The Oeko-Tex certifies non-hazardous in products and all of their components. Products that carry the standard 100 label have been tested and proven free of harmful levels of toxic substances. 2 of the 3 of these yarns have that symbol on them. What's your guess? If you guessed the Red Heart Super Saver, because I already showed you that one, the other one was I Love This yarn. So the Big Twist does not have that certification, but guess what? That's okay. Okay, places of origin and where they are made. Red Heart is made in India. Big Twist and I Love This yarn are made in Turkey. Now, if you look on the packages of your yarn, many of the yarns are made in Turkey. Just thought that was really interesting. We're going to talk about the care of each of these yarns. The Red Heart, machine wash and dry. Big Twist says machine wash and air dry. Do not use in the dryer, so do not iron or bleach. That makes sense because acrylic yarn is kind of plasticky and it will melt. This I Love This yarn says machine wash warm, tumble dry, normal, do not iron, do not bleach, dry clean, any solvent. So that being said, with all of these different yarns, there's a couple tips that I'm going to share with you. I definitely, because of personal experience, because I was gifted some beautiful hot pads, like taken hours to use these hot pads. Well, I used the hot pads, and because they were made out of acrylic yarn, they melted, which was really sad because they were beautiful, and so I had to throw them away. So if you're consider using acrylic yarn for hot pads, just use cotton yarn, straight up cotton yarn. Yes, it's a little bit stiffer to use, but you're going to save yourself for longevity of wear if you're going to make an acrylic anything. So a blanket, wearables, make sure that you wash it on a gentle cycle and air dry without stretching it. My son, I made him a blanket and it was beautiful, and he washed it and I didn't tell him the proper way to wash it, and so it pilled up really, really bad. I don't know how many times he washed it. It got washed a few times and he still loved it and still was using it. It got pretty ugly. If you are going to wash these things, delicate air dry is what I would recommend. So the longevity of wearables for these, I honestly don't know. So I talked about the fact that these are all 3 from a medium 4 weight, and each of these have so many colors to choose from. So that is something that's a bonus and a plus for all of them. Okay, now I'm going to talk about probably my least favorite to my favorite. This is my least favorite, but let me explain something first. The old version of Red Heart was so scratchy and so uncomfortable to work with. It left my hands raw. I didn't really like it. Yes, if you're on a tight budget and can't get anything else, Red Heart will do in a pinch. This yarn, they must have changed the recipe for the chemicals they put on it, because this is a lot softer than I remember. But it's still, to me, I wouldn't necessarily recommend making anything for babies out of this. Other people may not notice it as much as I do. I like to have soft things on my hands, and so this would not be my first choice. The good thing about this yarn is that it doesn't split when you're crocheting with it, or if you're knitting with it, the fibers don't come open. Sometimes the weave on acrylic yarn can come loose. This one does not do that. That's a bonus. Okay, my second favorite is, I love this yarn. I don't necessarily shop yarn at Hobby Lobby all that much. I like to get my yarn a little bit cheaper, so that's nothing really like a kick on the yarn. It's just I know that I can get yarn for less expensive if I go to Joann. Consistently buy yarn that I enjoy and that I like. And I don't like all the yarn that Hobby Lobby sells. There's nothing wrong with the yarn. I feel like this is really soft yarn and it feels nice on the hand and it works up really, really nicely. Hobby Lobby has this great wall of just so many colors, so many different hues of all the colors. Their choices are really, really good. And also, I love this yarn does not split, so that's a happy day. All right, my favorite probably is the Big Twist for various reasons. I can get it for less expensive. They have beautiful colors. It doesn't split, and by far it is the softest of the three in larger sizes in the plain colors. My advice on yarn, because I've been crocheting for so long, I don't have to kind of have become a yarn snob maybe. I know that I work better and I'm happier with yarn that works well. I don't have to settle for yarn that I don't enjoy. I understand if you're on a budget. I am going to be coming out with a video on how I save and different tips on how to save in your crochet, and that will be coming out next week. So if you can stay tuned for that, I will give some great ideas for this yarn. So hopefully this video was helpful between the 3 different yarns. Happy crocheting. Now I also have to stay a 6mm hook. Boy, excuse me, that is totally not right. So